Okay, something for a still shot for the occasional open mic photo that I use. Welcome to Stone Soup Poetry, and thank you all for coming tonight. Big round of applause to our feature Nike Truth, who will be featuring after the open mic. Nike is a newcomer, but I've loved her spirit, and I am looking forward to hearing her tonight. This is it's been a great addition. You can check out her work at Alien Buddha Press soon or now. Alien Buddha Press publishes, I think, a book every 3 days, so I'm not sure where she is in the publishing roster, but I am looking forward to seeing more of her work and hearing all of it tonight. But first, let's get to the open mic, and I'd like to start off as the Remninator 5000 dictates with one of our returning contributors, Rita Rusty Rose.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. This is a new piece. I read it once, but this will be the first time live, going over the airways. This is kind of a rebuttal this is called Dragon Slayer to the Arch Enemy. Matthew 23:33. Ye serpents, ye generations of vipers, how can ye escape the damnation of hell? Radical right wing devil's dragon rising from the ashes, rearing an ugly head from a malevolent epoch. America is infested. Radical religious viper, wicked serpent, procurer of political puppets, groomer of deceitful causes, when your thick maw opens false ideologies, vulnerable propaganda spill from your hateful tongue, endangers citizens, our great nation. America is infested. Every malicious, fiery breath from the right wing radicals and the POTUS consort razz throughout the populace, destroying constitutional ethics, our foundation. Lost is love, generosity, compassion, kindness, forgiveness, humility, and mercy. Hard to believe a country so rich has regressed. Witch purging and trials have commenced. Medieval autocratic aberrations now take precedence over common sense. America is infested. Radicalized religious dragon with feathery black wings of corruption. You alone cloak the air of justice, cripple our nation, maim allies, serpents, hateful cowards, poses under the guise of Christianity. You do the devil's bidding. Evil ones, we rebuke you, cast you out as we had before. Pharisaic trash, you know who you are. Go ahead, swing your club tails, attack LGBTQ civil liberties, divide America, set ablaze freedom, equality, individualism, our inherent birthright. America is infested. But now hear this: pride activists, vigilant defenders, dragon slayers, raise your sword of justice high, crush the serpentine head. Project 2025. Do this to preserve the freedoms our trailblazers secured. Pride advocates, dragon vanquishers, sever the head of hypocrisy, destroy the convoluted agenda of the zoological right. And although it may take time, by God's grace, we shall overcome injustice. We shall slay the malignant, radical right wing dragon, the infestation, the pall over our great country.
Starting off the mic, coming in hot. It's Rita
Bravo,
Rose.
bravo.
Thank you so much. And who do we have next coming up? I'd like to introduce next Robert Fleming, a visual poet from Delaware. I think he has an announcement or two to make. especially if you didn't catch them on Facebook or don't follow his Facebook.
Thank you, Chad. Can I do the share screen? Thank you. There we go. So I'd like for us to do another cold reading of one of my favorite scenes from the movie The Graduate, which was a 1960s movie. Uh, I'll just give a little background of the scene we're going to do tonight, and just a reminder of the overall movie. It's about a graduate, Ben, who just graduated from college and is kind of depressed about his future. Ben is young and naive, and he has an affair with a sexy older woman family friend, Mrs. Robinson. The scene we're going to share tonight is where Benjamin learns something new which he didn't learn in college, which is how to get a hotel room. This is the hotel clerk in the movie The Graduate, which was played by Buck Henry, who was one of the original members of the first and second year of Saturday Night Live. And here we have in the movie Ben talking with the hotel clerk. And here, this is where he's signing the register. And finally, Ben gets his room for Mrs. Robinson. So there's three characters tonight. There is the hotel clerk, and then there is Ben, and then Mrs. Robinson. Since Rita did such a wonderful job last time reading Mrs. Robinson, will you do her again, Rita? Thank you, Rita. So I need two volunteers for.
I've been doing Ben. I might as well continue. I might as well reprise my role.
Wonderful. And we need someone to be the hotel clerk. It could be a man or a woman.
I think that Richard would be an excellent hotel clerk.
Would you like to be the hotel clerk, Richard?
If elected, I will not serve. If nominated, I will somehow agree.
Okay, wonderful.
I nominate you. You look like you do. You look like you'd own a nice little tavern by the a tavern by the square.
Sort of the Area 51 hotel, I think.
Discounts for all off-worlders.
Yeah, excellent.
Okay, here we go. I will read the here we go. I'll read the movie directions. We're starting at number 54 on the left side. In the door of the lobby is Ben and Mrs. Robinson. She pauses, looks into the room, sees Ben, and starts toward him. Ben is looking out the window. He does not see her approach.
Hello, Benjamin.
Oh, hello. Hello.
He quickly rises.
May I sit down?
Of course.
He pulls out a chair for her.
Thank you.
They sit.
How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Ben tries to smile, then looks out the window, then down at the center of the table.
May I have a drink?
Drink? Of course.
Ben looks towards a passing waiter and raises his hand. The waiter pays no attention. Ben looks back at Mrs. Robinson.
He didn't see me.
Waiter!
For a moment, the noise in the room seems to recede. The waiter stops in its tracks, turns towards them. The waiter moves to their table. The noise in the room comes back. The waiter looks at Robinson.
I will have a martini.
Yes, madam. The waiter moves away. Ben watches him go.
You don't have to be so nervous, you know.
Nervous? Well, I am a bit nervous. I mean, it's pretty hard to be suave when you're
He shakes his head.
Did you get us a room?
what?
Have you gotten us a room yet?
I haven't. No.
Do you want to?
Well, I don't. I mean, I could, or we could just talk.
Do you want me to get it?
You? Oh no, no, I'll get it.
Do you want to get it now?
Now?
Yes.
Well, I don't know.
Why don't you get it?
Why don't I get it? Well, I will then, if you'll excuse me.
Ben walks out of the veranda room and into the lobby. Ben walks to the front desk and stands there.
Yes, sir.
A room. I'd like a room, please.
A single room or a double room?
A single, just for myself, please.
Will you sign the register, please?
He pushes the card and pen towards Ben. Ben writes his name on the card and then stares at it for a moment, crumples it up and fills out a second card.
Is there anything wrong, sir?
What? No, nothing.
Do you have any luggage, Mr. Gladstone?
Luggage? Yes, I do.
Where is it?
What?
Where is your luggage?
Well, it's in the car. It's out in the car.
Very good, sir. I'll have a porter bring it in.
Oh no.
Sir?
I mean, I'd rather not go to the trouble of bringing it all in. I just have a toothbrush. I'll get it in myself. That's all right.
Of course. I'll have the porter show you the room.
Oh, well, actually, I'd just as soon find it myself. I just have the toothbrush to carry it up, and I think I can manage myself.
Whatever you say, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll stop there. And that was the scene from the movie The Graduate, where Ben gets his first hotel room for Mrs. Robinson. So my announcement is the Poetry Global Network is doing an acrostic poetry publication where poets are writing to a black and white visual image. And I am hoping to pair with different poets where I would do the visual image and the poets would respond. I will put the link for my visual images and the contest in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fleming. Up next, I'd like to bring up, if his voice isn't too strained from that script recital, Mr. John Wezek.
Oh, I'm back. Okay. Hey, the new book here, Reductio ad Absurdum. I'll read a little portion from The Long Godot, one of the stories in there. And I think I read some of it to you before, but here's hopefully a different part. Beckett lived in a 2-story house on the beach in Kennebunkport, Maine. I climbed the steps to the deck and knocked on the aluminum siding next to a picture window. A woman with bronze skin and brassy hair answered. Her eyes were the color of zinc oxide, and her nipples poked through her sweatshirt like a pair of 1/4-inch socket cap screws. She was such a knockout that doctors recommended avoiding strenuous exercise to anyone who saw her. Help you? Name's Pillbottle, Morris Pillbottle. I handed her a business card. I'd like to speak with Wade Beckett. He's at the Meatloaf Writers Conference in Rip Torn, Vermont. She looked at my card. Private detective, huh? Maybe you can help. I'm his wife, Irene, and I suspect Wade is being held against his will. I could pay you a handsome sum to make him out of there. Just how handsome we talking about? I asked. $100. That might comb my hair, but I'd still need to dry clean my trench coat. 200. What about trimming my nose hairs? 300. You drive a hard bargain, Mr. Pillbottle. Like everyone else, she got that wrong. I drove a Hyundai. I got on the I-89, headed north, and marveled at my good fortune. All I had to do was escort a rider away from a group of pacifist academics to earn my fee. This wasn't just a piece of cake, it was a whole French bakery, complete with enough madeleines to inspire a million-world novel. I was 2 hours from Riptorn, Vermont. When I saw Meatloaf Mountain overlooking the conference center like a 1950s housewife whose husband was hours late for dinner, I realized I'd gotten it wrong. The facility was a windowless concrete bunker surrounded by a chain link fence topped with razor wire. Guard towers at the fence's corners had an unobstructed field of fire into the courtyard. If I wanted to spring Beckett, I'd need an excuse to get inside. I drove to a shopping mall and returned an hour later. "My name's Herb Drexler, here for my 3 o'clock appointment," I said to the intercom. "I don't have any record of any appointments." "This is the Meatloaf Writers Conference, isn't it?" I reply. "You filled out a card saying you wanted me to clean a room to demonstrate the Lurgy vacuum cleaner." "Hold on, I'll ask Dr. Lowbrow." The gate opened. I drove inside and parked in front of a building. A short man with white hair and a worried brow met me at the entrance. "Herb Drexler, nice to meet you." I unloaded a vacuum cleaner from the trunk and handed the attachment bag to the man. "Hold that, would you? If you don't mind me asking, what kind of vacuum cleaner do you currently have?" It's some kind of upright, I think." "What is this place, anyway?" I looked at the guard towers as we walked toward the entrance. "As you know, writers procrastinate," Dr. Lowbrow said. "I designed an environment where that's impossible. Our alumni include 2 National Book Award winners, 3 Pulitzer recipients, and 1 was even nominated for a Nobel Prize. It's amazing what you can accomplish with forced isolation and electric shocks." "Armed guards, really?" I pointed to the towers. "They're mannequins," he whispered. "Just don't tell the inmates I mean guests." The metal detector buzzed as we carried the hardware through the entrance, but Dr. Lowbrow nodded to the guard and he led us through. A low-pile, stain-resistant polypropylene carpet in a pattern called Notorious Gaucho covered the lobby. "Tell you what I'm going to do." I plugged the vacuum cleaner into the outlet. "You're my last client of the day, so I'll vacuum the entire facility. If you don't agree that the Scramjet Turbo 3000 with our patented nitro-fueled compressor and supercharged Magnum filter makes your facility cleaner than a Chihuahua that's been through a car wash, the job is free. But if you like it, I can give you this little baby for just 10 low payments of $199.99. The vacuum cleaner did well on the writer's hair, torn out in frustration, but it clogged on some papers under the couch. It took 15 minutes to remove book 2 of Gogol's Dead Souls that had wound around the beater bar brush. Dr. Lowbrow got bored and left. After completing the first floor, I hauled the vacuum cleaner up the stairs. The second floor was carpeted in a pattern called Truculent Viking. I started with the hallway and knocked on a door. "Housekeeping!" I entered to find Galway Cannell eating oatmeal with the ghost of John Keats. "Don't mind me." I vacuumed rolled oats off the carpet in a pattern called Sardonic Samurai and moved to the next room, which contained a nose dressed as a Russian general and a carpet in a design called Ironic Anarchist. It took several tries before I found Wade Beckett's room. With a face like chiseled granite, hair the color of quartzite, and eyebrows dark as hematite, he resembled a famous director whose name was something like a city in Texas. Archibald Abilene. Ferdinand Fort Worth. Beckett turned his Criascola-colored eyes toward me and asked, "What are you doing here?" "Irene hired me to bust you out. Pretend you're my assistant and carry this vacuum cleaner past the guards." "That just won't do," he said. "Where is the conflict? What are the stakes? If you can't answer these questions, how can our escape result in a rewarding climax that is surprising and yet natural?" "I suppose I could use this." I removed the snub-nosed .45 I'd smuggled past the metal detector and the accessories. "Kid, you got grit," Beckett said. "I'm gonna write you into my novel. I'll create a distraction. When you hear gunshots, run to the entrance. I'll have the car running and we'll beat it out of here." I propped his door open as I left. No one bothered me when I hauled the vacuum cleaner to the break room. I unloaded my pistol, put the bullets in the microwave, selected the popcorn setting, and ran for the exit. The bullets went off when I hit the lobby. I cranked up my Hyundai and waited with the engine running until Beckett dashed into the front seat. I would have burned rubber, but my car was a Hyundai after all. We cruised past the puzzled staff and onto the interstate. Reductio ad absurdum. Available from me and soon from the website that shall not be named.
Thank you, John. Looking forward to the book. Which I'll probably order when after the next few crazy weeks are gone. Oh, I was going to ask Christina Ortolani if she would be interested in reading. There's like Gonzo the Great. She is back. Great. Oops. Oh, great. Excellent. So Christina, take it away. You might have to unmute. Here, I'll help you.
Mute. Is that
There
better?
you go. Much.
Okay. It's called Soggy Flag. Beneath a Yankee gray blanket of clouds, saturated with tears from above, hangs limp and flaccid the grand old flag. We cheered the jeers, boldly guzzled beers, thousands of shards of multicolored glass left round the bottle trees smashed, a fine testament to so many dreams dashed, to the bodies burned by bullets and generations of unhealthy coping mechanisms, while the profits just keep rolling in. Bow to the bullies who take the field proudly. Bow to the bullies who proudly take the field, never admit to piles of manure needed to yield so much prize-winning pork at the county fair. How much Febreze will be needed to clear the air? Move along, there's nothing to see, only heartbreak and the ruin of you and me. Separate church and state. They said it's okay to masturbate. This great country 'tis of thee, to or from here shall we flee. How long shall we wait for a new stiff breeze to lift our spirits and dry up all the slees? Only then our flag will wave proudly again, perhaps again believe in the power of the pen, use our words and wits to pull us out of the pits. May we all be brave. May we all find grace and forgive. May we all finally be set free from sea to shining sea.
Thank you very much, Christina. Do come back again. That was very enjoyable. Everyone's coming in hot today. And speaking of coming in hot, let's get Jan Rowe up here. Oh, she's not there. Oh, she's not reading tonight. Okay, got it. Mr. Richard Spizak. Let us bring up Oddball's Deep in the Trench Humorist. Check out oddballmagazine.com for all our work this past week. It's been some interesting mixes, and Richard was one of the first this past Monday.
Okay, I'm going to share screen and reveal a poem, as it were. This is a piece called I Got a Call. Many of us are troubled, or at least occasionally interrupted, by commercial solicitation phone calls, and most of us screen. But I was a little tired, a little dozy the other night, and this one got through, and I thought, if I'm going to have to listen to this son of a bitch, I'm going to take him for a little ride. So I got a call. I got a call the other day from a charming chap who called out, "Hey, we'd like to secure your house and grounds. Have you researched it yet? What have you found?" "Well, I haven't looked thus far." I said, "I haven't been too concerned, not full of dread. From what I learned, we have a special deal this week." He said, "We have everything that you might seek. What type of service interests you? I replied to his inquiry. It leapt for me since I was intrigued by this, even inspired. See, could we get some critters from the zoo, perhaps a tiger, a leopard, or an ape or two, that could patrol and scare off intruders? Maybe a pack of black-tip sharks, say from Bermuda. Maybe a pack of wolves to patrol at night would scare off any burglar they would take to their heels on some cloudless night. Or a laser cannon might be nice, either an AI or IR on automatic, right? Either way to pierce or sever might be just a thing. It might be clever. Mounted high above the roof on a 360 swivel. Tell the truth, I'd like that better. Old Buck Rogers certainly had 'em, or maybe a minefield hidden on the sidewalk, sealed and buried deep in macadam. It wouldn't need to always be fatal, but some certainly far more dangerous than a spinning dreidel. What do you say? Linked to X-ray scans so we'd be carefully to detect whether woman or man? I'd really like a mode, of course. What do you charge for such a niggardly, dastardly, over-the-top resource, complete with alligators or piranhas? Either way, what do you say? A contingent of guards might well be needed to toss them in when it's time for feeding. You know, you need them. I was thinking, of course, mines. Bouncing Betties might be fine. We need a new map of where they're placed, or you too might get a kiss from Pretty Betty right there where you used to have a face. Could you supply a dozen heads on spikes? It would reduce intruders. It very well might. He sounded sheepish in his retort. He paused and said, had something else in mind, of course. But before he could speak, I offered this while contemplating Betty's bouncing bliss. A flock of peregrine falcons, perhaps, or a brace of eagles. He started nervously to laugh. He opined it might seem regal, or even patriotic, or maybe, truth be told, a touch psychotic. Well, he said, we had in mind a doorbell camera to show who's at your door, or what have you. A package, say, there on the floor, tied to an app installed there on your phone, so you could check your house when you're away from home. Oh, so downcast and a bit, so downhearted and a bit downcast. I asked, was this all he had to offer at last? Well, they could put sensors on the windows in case someone were to climb in and break some glass. No wildebeest? No roaming boars? No flock of noisy gooses, swans, I implored? No moat? No laser-sighted guns? Oh, gosh, I chuckled, you're just no fun. I already pay a team of orcs. They're a rowdy bunch, but they need the work. And I have a team of pterodactyls on patrol, but you know how they eat. They're out of control.
So, Richard, I just have to recommend going to YouTube and looking for a channel called the Bosnian Ape Society. They have lots of good videos about, the nuclear missile gambit in chess and is your car safe from a 15E Strike Eagle. So you might like that.
Okay, I might leave before then.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thanks, Rich. You know more. You know, you're the one person who knows weirder YouTube channels than me.
Years of practice.
Tim and Eric probably search you, go to you seeking advice of where to go. Anyway, let's if you don't know who Tim and Eric is, look it up. Let's go to Bill Lewis.
Why
Let's go
doesn't my
to Bill Lewis.
microphone work? Who
Your
is
mic
talking
works.
to me? Oh, when I was your age, things were different. Oh, you and your damn electronic gizmos and doodads, you young whippersnappers. Let me
You said that about phones. This is a computer. Catch up.
Ketchup is not to be used on steak. A good steak does not require ketchup. Good God, what type of monster are you? There,
Not what I said, but slow clap anyway. Anyway,
there were the tomato family, and they're walking down the street, and the baby tomato kept falling behind, and mommy and daddy were getting pissed at him. So daddy tomato goes back to the baby tomato and smashes him on the ground and says, ketchup! Where you're disturbing me. It's going to get more disturbing. This is really disturbing. I am teaching I'm teaching computer science again. I'm giving a talk to the Rotary Club on artificial intelligence. I thought I had retired. What happened to all this retirement stuff? So I was sitting here imagining, getting into the whole computer thing. If I were an electron, how would the world look? And try to think about being an electron in a computer and a whirl of logic gates my tiny stage, a silicon sea, a digital cage. I spin and dance, a quantum sprite, a fleeting current day and night. No rest, I know, no moment's ease. A billion brothers buzzing with pleas for data streams, the constant flow through transistors to and fro. A voltage pulse, my fleeting guide, the logic's maze I swiftly glide, from register to memories keep, instructions whispered, secrets deep. I feel the heat, the silicon sigh, as millions churn and systems fly, a fleeting park, a tiny spark within the CPU, in the dark. Yet, in my dance, a purpose lies to build the worlds that humans prize. From games and arts to science quest, I'm but a piece among the rest. So let the clock its rhythms keep while I, the electron, spin and leap. A quantum dance, a tireless flight, a tiny spark in the digital light. Ah, where the, oh, so, oh, I'm so depressed. I am so depressed. That was so beautiful. That took ChatGPT like 5 seconds to produce. I just said, give me a poem about it from the electron's point of view. And that's what it wrote. The time of poetry is over. We are dinosaurs. Back to you, Mr. Chadford.
Thank you, Bill. And we do have our signature closer, but it's been so long since our presence has been graced by Jamea Van Dyke Bailey, and I am so hoping that she would like to read a poem tonight.
I have a piece on my phone that I can read that I just
Awesome.
finished writing the other day.
Sweet.
And of course, because I'm talking, my son probably will walk in and start barging around.
Well, welcome all the same. It's good to have you back.
Thank you. Let me see. Okay. You sit, watch, bright and absent. Your thoughts slip beneath your son, between the floorboards and furniture. He laughs like gravel, like your father. The two are woven. He goes and keeps going. You feel his smile. He is happy you are living. He is happy you're not running, not pretending, not yelling. His body expands into the dense, empty space of you. He is happy that you are his mother and that you want to be his mother. You smile at him, stare into his face, applaud and praise. You love him with the itchiness burning inside of you. You love the smiling, laughter, temper, tantrums, tugging, and guilt. You are a mother. Bare minimum, you are, you are. Without explanation, he crawls into your chest, smooth, round, and fumbling. There is no angst, no emptiness, no lack. You hold your son with all of you.
Oh, now he comes in. Oh, that was adorable. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jamea, and welcome back. Gotta get you back to the soup to feature sometime. And closing us out before the feature, let's welcome up. Check out his column every Thursday morning at 11 a.m., unless I screw things up, like I did last week, but should be there at 11 tomorrow. Give it up for James Van Looy. I said that as if I was asking a question. Give it up for James Van Loy, please. No, give it up for James Van Loy. Looks like he's muted. Let's see what I can do. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, there you are. Oh, there you go. You're unmuted. Say something, please. Can you say a word? Looks like he's. Huh. I've never seen that happen before.
Maybe he can't hear us.
Let me see if I can hmm. Try one more time. And nothing? Can't hear? Maybe try signing back in and try signing out and signing back in again. That sometimes helps. In the meantime, we'll move on to the feature. Oh, John said turn the volume up on the computer. Oh, here he goes. Anything? Oh, I would sign out and come back in again. We'll move on, and hopefully we can get you back. Just like that for technology to be messed up. Well, stay tuned for more features being announced, including someone who I'll be very happy to feature in the coming weeks. It is someone who has been recommended to me at least twice, so they'll at least be pleasantly surprised and probably not able to make it once I make the announcement, but that's the way it goes. I am very happy with the way Stone Soup's going. Hopefully, we'll have more announcements especially for National Poetry Month and for the 50th, the 50, is it the 53rd? I think 54th anniversary special at this point. Good Lord. And hopefully have some announcements. I'd like to try and bring Carol Weston back. She's been hard to reach since she's got moved into her new home, but we will go on from there. James, I hope you can fix your computer issues. It's probably one of those things that can only get fixed next week. That's my luck too. But now on to the boilerplate. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Nike Truth, who is a writer hailing from Michigan, has a bachelor's degree in creative writing and experience in self-publishing. They enjoy exploring the complicated dynamics between people through storytelling. Their short story, Let the Dead Sleep, was recently published by Alien Buddha Press. It gives me great pleasure to welcome a newcomer and someone who's was kind of watching very quietly from the ranks until one day they popped up at Stone Soup, and I was very pleased to have them. And I found out they were kind of I'm not gonna they were stalking me under a different identity. Well, really their business identity. I won't say who or what or where, but I was so glad to make that connection. And the rest of you are making that connection now. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together 40, 50 times for Nike Truth.
Good evening, everyone. It is so good to see you all. It has been so nice to hear all of y'all's poems and hear y'all voices, as always. And I just want to first say thank you so much, Chad, for this opportunity. I am super excited. And also just thank you to everyone who always comes to Stone Soup Poetry and make it possible every week. I always am looking forward to y'all fun and y'all sass and just having jokes. And I am just so excited to be here. So I guess we'll just get straight to it. Give me one second. Oh, and I also have a Ko-fi and a Patreon. I literally just made them, and all the poetry that I'm gonna say today is available on both of those sites. And I'm gonna link them real quick.
I'll share them tomorrow as well.
That is Patreon. And then
You want to change it to the group. You send it to me privately, or I can send it to the group as well.
oh, I'm not. Hold on a second.
There
Yeah,
you
I'm
go.
one. Hmm, that is so weird. I wonder why I just wouldn't do that the first time. Oh, okay. I'll give you this one too. Boom.
Sounds good.
Great. Okay. So let's just get straight into it. This first collection of poems is something that I've recently finished. And oh, there you guys go. Hold on. Perfect. Okay. So these are poems that I'm sure some of you have heard already, but I'm going to say them again. This poem has been inspired by the time when I was a delivery driver for basically the biggest, most popular delivery people person on this planet, and just kind of enjoying kind of like the mundaneness of that job. And it is called Thursday. Day. Right, right, left, right, right, left, right. Taking loops, roundabouts, intersections, blinking canaries and finches, passing crosses, train tracks, turbines, flags, buggies. Slow, thoughtful, steady, urgent, tired, quick. Forward, south, far, going, west, moving, onward, moving. Thurs. Only a few days until another month replaces this one. Fleeting warmth and pale sky. A day I didn't work, but didn't think about money or my stomach. Ignoring my father's birthday again. I'll take my usual 19 and a half clicks to anywhere. This next poem was written for my friend Zine, and they have not published it yet, but I'm hoping that if I keep talking about it, it will eventually happen. So this is called Inflation circa 2021. I water this, I water that. I'm wondering where my money's at. Wondering when the stress will pass, pondering when these bills will pass. I know the stress of bills won't last, so I tend to my tired brown grass, being patient for the green, thinking about what it could all mean. I got faith that things will change, even if my prayers seem hush. It'll sprout flowers one of these days, so I'm in no rush. Okay, this next poem, I believe I did it about a week ago. And just a little fun story behind it. Around 10 to 12, my mom's dad came up from Alabama to live with us for a while. And that's like the biggest part of that I remember dearly is that good old Southern cooking. And anything that he made that was in gravy was like my personal favorite. And every time I would just tear it up and destroy it. And it was maybe about the 10th time of eating it that I realized I don't know exactly what I'm eating. I know it's good, but what is it? And so one day I just decided to ask him, what is this meat and gravy and vegetables? and he so very innocently says, "It's liver." And being 10 to 12, I was a very picky eater, and for a few seconds, I died. But it was already too late. And so that just like taught me, sometimes it's good to not ask questions, just enjoy it for what it is. This is called Grandpa's Cooking. I cannot wait to go home. I cannot wait to go home. I cannot wait to go home because I heard that Grandpa cooked today. It's boiling in the iron. It's boiling in the iron. It's been boiling in the iron for an hour now, Mama says. And I know what it is. I know what it is. I know that it is gravy jellied to savory perfection that has been soaked into liver or pork chops and those onions and those carrots. And every minute that I am away, every minute that I am away, every minute that I am away from my street, my driveway, my front door, a spoon, and a bowl is agony. All right. And this next poem I have recently finished. It is called God. You obliged my arrogant requests, so I followed you. And your fur rose like fog as we traveled deeper into the trees. Under your breath, you say useless things about dreams, leaves, the frailty of moths. I stopped when you paused in front of a forked tree, its height as impressive as yours and roots as thick as stone. And when you looked at me, I knew the scent of the month, the texture of the week, the taste of the day, the sound of the hour, and the spontaneity of the minute when the seed grew strong enough to push out of the dark and be curious of the sun. This next poem has no title, but it was a response to some facts I heard. I've always liked my food a little black, a little burnt to the gristle. I want that chemical plume in my mouth. I don't want to stop eating cancer. I want that delicious taste of overdone. And if I can't have it disintegrating in my hand, I want it fresh. I want fright dripping all over me. I want to taste the sweat on the skin. I want to know the flavor of the last prayer when I sink my teeth in. Little water break. Don't mind me. All right. That was the end of my first half. And now the second half is a bunch of poems from college days. And when I was kind of putting everything together, it really made me realize that sometimes your writing is not always as bad as you think. You just gotta get away from it for like 5 years. And then you'll see you actually have some gems in there. This first one is titled Ellison. Almost every friend I've had. Of course, I think about her and her soft skin, the crinkle of her eyes when she laughs, and how she was the only person to get mad at me for the right reasons. She knows the way I love is just like a dog for those that are too hard to forget, chasing the scent of our moments with each year. My heart is obedient, never moving from its spot, patiently waiting for her hand to lay on mine. This next poem is inspired by religion, but it's also riots. And the reason why I say riots in general Because when I first wrote it, it was mostly about the riots going on in 2020, but realistically, it could also be applied to right now. So, yeah, this is called The Great Migration. Gave my gospel to the dove, whispered my dreams into her breast, looked in her dark eyes, and hoped when she landed, she rested on fresh grass. Somewhere where the pariah's hymn does not sound like the silky screech, and her downy feathers do not shed in mourning. Watch those wings stretch and leave me with a bating breath. This next one, it never had a title, and every time I try to think of a title for it, I come up short. So if y'all have any suggestions, I'm open to them. My life has been honey. My life has been char on the cast iron. My life has been acetone nail polish remover. My life has been super magenta disco lights. My life has been loose rocks. My life has been drenched in ink. My life has been broken glass. My life has been teak cedar wood. My life has been crumpled paper. My life has been molasses. This next poem is inspired by my mom's obsession and love with Prince, which has turned into my love of Prince. And yes, kind of my response to that. So the epigraph is from When Doves Cry. Dream if you can, a courtyard, an ocean of violets in bloom. Animals strike curious poses. They feel the heat. That was my intention, babe. It's late at night. The only thing stronger than the oil diffuser is the clinging smell of burnt sugar. You can make the color rush to my flesh, but you rather talk like this. How boring, my dear. I think about the prick. I think about the slice. I think about how I want to consume all the sensation of life. The burn of falling hard, the discolored swelling of my pathetic form being put to the test. I've told you many times to contour your expectations. What's the word you always use that'll describe what my species is and the impulsive need to run away and run into everything? Where will you be when you realize that this is all so temporary? That lump in your throat, the one in your head, the one that twerks in your rib cage. And when you've had the same conversation all your life about why this isn't what you expected it to be, then you'd have nothing to show for that you've been alive. I will not care for your wounded pride tonight. You've said that I've ruined the mood? Well, okay. That concludes all of the poems that I have, but I do have one last thing. I recently went to the record shop in town, and I decided to just pick a record at random for its art. And can y'all see it? I'm going to assume that you can. And it is called Weather Report. I Sing the Body Electric.
Oh yeah, Weather Report. All right, great band.
Heck yeah.
Jazz fusion from the 70s.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and that's what I really love about it. I had no idea that it was jazz, and I am a big jazz lover anyway. So this was a very pleasant thing to listen to. But what I liked even more was the excerpt on the back. And I figured y'all were people that would enjoy this, so I'm gonna share it with you. We have been taught that music must follow a certain path. We must know where it begins, where it ends, what message it contains. We must clearly understand the definition of its melody, its rhythm, its meaning, its form. Weather Report teaches us to unlearn our ideas of musical differences and only concern ourselves with each musical moment, the essence of the music. We have also been taught that understanding can only come with words and explanation. We must be told. But language can only go to a certain point in human communication and expression. Certain ideas, emotions, questions, and answers cannot be verbally expressed. Music is a means of expressing the inexpressible. Weather Report plays music without words. Much is said. There are stories, conversations, singing, laughing, crying, whispering, understanding, but no words. And I just thought that was really cool. And yep, that's all I have for tonight. I am very grateful for this opportunity. Thank y'all so much for listening to me and having me here. And thank you again, Chad, for this opportunity. I will be here next week.
Not content to sit on your laurels. She'll be here next week. Nike Truth, give them a round of applause. 30, 40, 55 times. Keep the applause emojis going. What's the tentative title of your first book?
Great question. I'm honestly thinking Dark Elbows.
I like that. I like that very much. And what's your favorite Prince composition?
Hmm. Now that I'm being asked on the spot, I'm starting to forget.
Oh, wow.
It is, oh goodness. Oh goodness. It's an album from like 2008. It's like when he was in some
Oh,
weird era of doing 11-minute long songs.
oof,
And there's
yeah.
one
I'll,
on
I'll,
there.
I'll help you out. Little Red Corvette.
That's not 2008, you goofball.
It's way too
Well,
old.
maybe he did a 20, maybe he did a 20-minute version of that in 2008.
He could have. But yeah, it's something about leather and having a good time. So if I can remember, I will say it.
Please do. I need to get more into Prince. And by the way, in the Prince composition, I thought you got a little bit of Erotic City in there as well. If you haven't heard that one, it's a B-side.
I have, and you have a good ear.
I love that song. I was a big Prince guy growing up, and if you ever get enough money to get satellite radio, there used to be a Prince tribute channel, a station on Sirius XM. We don't have it anymore, but it was amazing to listen to just for Prince doing a rendition of Purple Rain. And it's like 10 minutes of him just like doing the beginning chords. Everyone expecting to sing, and when he finally does, when he finally does, everyone just like I don't know if they were relieved that they were done or they were just like, oh my God, it's gotta be another 20 minutes. It was amazing. But great stuff, and I will be excited for that Dark Elbows. Hold on to that title. That is take care, Jimmy. That is a great line. And it's actually great to see your face as well as in live and animated. So hope that continues to be a thing as well. So I think you're sounding, am I muted or are you muted? You're muted
Hey,
now. Okay, I can hear you now.
okay. I just said we'll see.
Well, thank you guys very much. I wish I had more to announce aside from the calls for submissions. Please, I'm interested in your work, Nike. If you want to do something for what I call the democracy benefit issue, it was my 2017 reply. That was the same title I gave to my 2017 zine response to Trump. So think along those lines and send your work. Robert Fleming already has, Richard already has, and I'm looking for more stuff both visually and verbally. You too, James. Oh, James, check if you're unmuted. Damnation. Sorry about that. Well, we'll check out his column tomorrow. That'll be the poem. That'll be the official poem for today's open mic.
He was unmuted.
He was, but he still can't talk, apparently. He still can't hear.
James, will you sing us a Prince song?
I don't think. Okay, there's a question for Nike. If you could if James could sing a Prince song, which one would it be? That's a tough one. I'm thinking Starfish and Coffee, but that's my choice. But at any rate, hopefully we'll have more announcements. The Democracy and Benefits issue of Stone's Throw. Let's say I have more of a deadline. Let's just say I have more of a deadline now than ever, so you guys can send your stuff to me. I'll be sending a link to that Ukraine call for anthology call for submissions and whatever else I can get a hold of. So thank you guys very much for joining us tonight. We do the obligatory wave. Good to see Nike wave with us, and I'll see you guys all next week. Hopefully, I'll be announcing the first next week will probably be an open mic, all open mic. But hopefully, I'll be announcing the next feature 2 weeks from now soon. Thank you. Take care and have a great evening. Show's over. We see you next time.